Okay, hello there. As an entrepreneur, is it possible that you're struggling simply because you're not doing it right? It's possible, right? That the steps that you're taking to run your business, to set up the business, might not be the right one. And when it happens that way, you struggle. What if I told you that there is a greatest entrepreneur ever, an entity that set up a business, and for years that business has still been running, a venture, an enterprise that has never ceased? Why? Because it was so well done that years and centuries later, it is still pending. And what if I told you that this entrepreneur I'm talking about actually gave us a blueprint for how he made it? So what that happens is that it provides you, Mr. or Madam Entrepreneur, that all you need to do is go through what this entity did and you'll be sorted out. That's what I'll be sharing with you in this video. I'll be going into the mind of this entrepreneur and we'll follow the steps this entrepreneur used so that you would learn the steps of the greatest entrepreneur ever. GEE. I call the G. Okay, so welcome to the video. My name is Jerry Halm, and to give you a bit of a background about who I am, if this is the first time you're watching us or you're joining this channel, I used to be in the banking industry, and if you know anything about the banking industry, one of the things you realize is that credit is very heavy for us. And what does credit do? If you're a credit officer, you are expected to write credit reports. And what goes into writing a credit report is you interacting with entrepreneurs. Go visit, find out what they are doing, and then try and write a smart report about them. So that is what credit report is. So I've engaged with entrepreneurs for years. Guess what? After years of banking and coming out of the industry, I now run a hub. I run an entrepreneurship hub right here in Accra, Ghana. And what that does for me is that I get to engage with great entrepreneurs, amazing folks who share their smart ideas with me. People doing amazing stuff with amazing things. I'm going to explain why. For instance, if someone does a soup with tomatoes, that's amazing. If someone does ice cream with potatoes, for me, that's amazing. So amazing stuff. I've engaged with entrepreneurs all around. And one of the things I've found with them is that they really don't have a system. And that makes them struggle. It's true that the statistics says that a number of businesses fail within the first year, I believe that. But I think the numbers of mortality for businesses will reduce if they follow the steps that this greatest entrepreneur ever used. Who is this greatest entrepreneur I'm talking about? God. What is a venture I'm talking about? Creation. Amazing. In all my years of interacting with entrepreneurs and engaging them and interviewing them and trying to coach, and in my facility we do acceleration, we do incubation, we do advisory services and all that. I never saw this until quite recently when God opened my eyes to what he did and how every entrepreneur going forward should be able to look at the blueprint, because what God did is give us a blueprint. And guess what? He wrote it. Where? In the Bible. Where else? Where in the Bible? The first book. Where in the first book? The first chapter. It is like God said, this is it. I'm giving you what you need to do from day one, from the very beginning. So I sat back and began to study how God put together this venture or this enterprise called creation. Amazing. And if you understand that, if you're able to pick the things one by one, you realize that, oh wow, if only we had known and had set up businesses like that, especially in my part of the world, and I'm talking to you from Accra, Ghana, West Africa, businesses really struggle. I don't know about elsewhere. I know the statistics might be worse here. Businesses really struggle. So for me, what I'll be doing today in this video is to go step by step and encourage somebody that you also look in it. If I'm wrong anywhere, I'd love for you to tell me, share with me. Let's think about this, that the greatest entrepreneur ever, God put in place the greatest system ever so that it becomes the blueprint for you and I when we're setting up our own businesses. So this is what I used to have a former name for it, but I've changed the name after God took me deeper. I call it the ICACI model. What is the ICACI model? ICACI. You know the beauty of ICACI? It's a mirror image if you put a mirror in the middle of the A. Think about it. If you put a mirror in the middle of the A, it becomes ICACI. ICACI. ICACI model. What is the ICACI model? Step 1. Ideation. Ideation. Write it down. Ideation. What is ideation? And of all the definitions of ideation I've come across, the one that excites me most is the one I saw on Investopedia. Investopedia.com has a great definition of ideation. Among other things, it says ideation refers to the process of developing and conveying prescriptive ideas to others, typically in a business setting. Prescriptive, you are prescribing. Prescriptive ideas, typically in the business setting. Then he went on to say, it describes a sequence of thoughts from the original concept to implementation. From concept to implementation. You must do that within the ideation space. So how did God do that? Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Full stop. Why is there a full stop there? Because Genesis 1:1 is the entire creation story. Genesis 1:1 is the entire creation story because you must create and finish creating mentally, conceptually, before you begin verse 2. Think about it. God finished creating from concept to implementation in verse 1. Somebody said about verse 2 is when now we start. Somebody said, oh, what if I am just an entrepreneur and I cannot see years? You can't see 10 years from today because you are not God. He declares the end from the beginning. That's his advantage over you. However, guess what? Before you go to the verse 2 of your entrepreneurial journey, in the verse 1, you should finish everything in your head. What kind of product do I want to bring out? Who is it going to serve? Where will I sell it? How will I market it? You must be clear in your mind as to what you want to achieve. That is what you do at ideation. Ideation is you sitting and saying, I am putting everything in my mind on paper. That is ideation. Ideation is you deciding that, you know what? This venture will look this way. It will look that way. It will serve this person. Without you going to verse 2. This is all verse 1. Ideation. Ideation is all here. Verse 1. How do you ensure that you don't get it wrong? But you won't know everything. You wouldn't know everything. You're not God. God is the one who knows everything. You are just human. Guess what? No problem. Genesis 1 verse 2. Genesis 1 verse 2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Verse 3. And God said. What does it mean? Ideation can leave you in an amorphous state because you don't know. Okay, I want to serve students of the major universities of this country. Okay. When you get on the ground, that's when you realize that, okay, probably you should think of serving staff of the university, not the students. But how would you know? This is where it gets beautiful. Verse 3. And God said, communication. So point 1, I'm writing it here. Ideation, Genesis 1:1. Communication, Genesis 1, verse 3. And God said, Genesis 1, verse 6. And God said, Genesis 1, verse 9. And God said, Genesis 1, verse 11. And God said, Genesis 1, verse 14. And God said, Genesis 1, verse 20. One day I'm going to do a whole video on why God spoke so much. But that is not for today. Communication follows ideation because Don't forget, in between ideation and communication, there is still darkness. There is still uncertainty. You are still not clear. But what happens when it comes to communication is this. Communication is where your research starts. You're walking around asking people, would you buy this if I produce it? Communication. What color would it be? Oh, I'm thinking of producing it as black. Nah, if it's red, we would have bought it. What has happened? Through communication, you are now making the ideation clearer. Is that not beautiful? And this is in your Bible. Through communication, your idea is becoming clearer. People are wondering, like, oh, wow, that's nice. If you did it green, rather, would have bought it. Or maybe the size. We would love it if the size were to be this. Or how are you marketing it? Oh, we'll put it in a plastic. Nah, if you put it in wooden, we would love it. All the clarity you would need comes when you begin to communicate your idea. That is why the second step in God's model is the C. So ideation, communication. And God communicated a lot. Because the more you communicate your ideas, the clearer it begins to come out. Somebody's thinking, but if I communicate my ideas to, they'll steal it. That's a good point. But guess what? If you trust in your project, you would have trademarked and registered and bought the domain name and done all of that. So that when you move into the market and begin communication, all you're doing is actually clarity, seeking clarity. So one of the things you need to understand is that communication leads to clarity. Communication leads to Now, we're not done with communication. The second area in which communication then becomes clear is this. You use communication to talk to the external customers you want to tackle, i.e., marketing. That's where communication comes in. Marketing, sales. Because what are you doing? You're asking, if I did it this way, would you buy it? The person, if you did green, I'll buy. What has happened? Through communication, you've just marketed. The person, if you did it blue, I'll buy. If you did it white, I'll buy. What is happening is that because with communication, you are getting clarity. In that same clarity, you are also achieving your marketing goals. Which is why there are products that you would even have people ordering for it before it comes out. What they've done is they've already communicated. Because if they didn't communicate, how would people even know already before they begin to order? So communication leads not only to clarity, but communication is what you need to market. So communication, clarity, marketing. Then also, communication never ends because when you begin to bring people into the business, you also need communication to ginger them, to tell them what the values are, to tell them what the mission and vision is. In that sense, communication also works. So you realize that there is a reason why God did a lot of communication. Because communication is just not one. You're communicating to customers, you're communicating to staff, you're communicating to yourself, you're communicating to, even the things you're doing, right? You're communicating. So communicating is very important. Then the A comes in, automation. Automation. Amazing. Automation. Somebody said, I don't see automation in Genesis 1. Because you are not looking for automation. You're not looking for it. How would you see it? I'm going to show you. Genesis 1, the verse. Genesis 1:6. We all know that God used 6 days to create 6 creation days to create the entire universe. Of the 6 days, 4 of the days were dedicated to automating his business. 4 of the days. So this is what I'm going to do. What is the percentage? The mass people there. I'm sure you pick your calculators at home and help me out here. What is the percentage of 4 days out of 6? 66. 66. at 67%. That's amazing. Somebody said, show it to us. I'm going to show it to you so that you see what automation is. From the verse 6. And God said, now first of all, it's actually day one. Day one. God said, let there be light. And there was light. Da, da, da. And he called the light. He called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So day one is off. So God used 6 days. Day one, no automation. Day one is when clarity came in. That is why go seek clarity. You have a business idea, go seek clarity. I have a business idea, go look for someone to ask and questions about it. So day one, no automation. Now day two, check this out. Day two, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. He made a firmament, divided the waters, which were under the firmament, and it was so. And the firmament he called heaven, and the evening. So we're going to put in place something that would divide the waters from the waters. Why? So that I don't have to come and divide the waters and hold the waters every day. I'm going to put something that will do that job. That's automation. That's day two. So day two, firmament. Let's go to day three. And God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. He called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the waters he called seas, and it was good. And then he said, let the earth bring forth grass. Why? So that I don't have to be planting every day. I'm going to put power in the earth so that the earth brings forth grass. That's automation right there. That is like God saying, my Chinese counterparts, why did I say Chinese? Yeah, of course. Anyway, they are the world's factory. So I'm sitting in New York, but my Chinese counterparts, I'll be ordering three containers of processed leather from you for my shoe factory. Let's sign an MOU. Every 3 months, send me 3 containers. That's automation right there. Why? So that every 3 months the things come. We don't have to now go looking, write a new proposal. No. That's what God just did here. Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And why was it so? Verse 12. And the earth brought forth grass, and the herb yielding seed after its kind, and the tree yielding fruit, and da. You know the greatest automation God did? The tree. I'm going to put the power of creating trees in something called seeds. And I'm going to put the seeds into something called fruits. And I'm going to put the fruits onto something called trees. So that for as long as the fruits ripe and the seeds fall, new trees will come. I could be sitting in Hawaii sipping pina colada, and the thing is going to work. Same way. Guy called whoever his name is, put a platform, whatever its name is, and he's sipping pina colada somewhere. And every time somebody is behind the scenes ensuring that it's working, that's the founder of whatever platform, social media platform. Does he have to be there? No. You know another great model of human automation? Vehicles. The guy who created the vehicle doesn't need to sit in the car to move it. He's put the principles of automation in it. Why do you think they call it automobile? Anyway, let me not go into that one. Anyway, it's because it moves automatically on its own. Yes, if you do that, whatever, or you punch, if I'm old school, not this, you punch, it moves. Automation, automobile. So day 3, automation. Day 2, firmament. Day 3, earth bringing forth. Now let's go to day 4. So day 1, no automation. Day 2, automation. Day 3, automation. Now let's go to day 4. Now this is where it gets interesting. Let there be lights in the firmament to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. let me blow your mind on something. Scientifically, it doesn't make sense why we have 7 days in a week. Why am I saying so? It is because we have 7 days in the week, which is why there is leap year. And sometimes you get confused. Is it February 29th? That's why if somebody is giving birth on February 29th, he's already confused for the rest of his life because he doesn't know his birthday. He celebrates birthday every 4 years. Leap year comes every how many? The 30 days of September, April, June, and November. If the guy is giving, they gave birth to him on February 29th, which is the leap year? Is it 28 or 29? I don't know. One of the times he's short because it's 28 days clear and 29 days in each leap year. So how many times does a leap year come? I mean, is it every 4 years or I don't know? Check it out. I mean, you should be telling me. Because you are teasing people who were born. I actually don't know anybody who was born on February 29th because that would be weird. You know? It totally weird. Because you can't tell me first March is your birthday. No, it's not. You can't also say 28 is your birthday. Every 4 years. So every 4 years you celebrate birthday. So technically, when you are 16 years, you're actually 4 years old.